This is the AOC Sports High School Football Preview Show.
Friday Night Rivals here on UTV 44. Tonight, week 7, kind of past the tipping point. Some things kind of coming into focus a little bit here tonight as we start to look down the road a little bit toward playoffs and who's going to win the region championships. Jim Cox, Dan Brennan here with us as we get ready for a big one tonight in Spanish Fort. Saraland and Spanish Fort matching up, a game we usually are lucky enough to see here on UTV 44.
Yeah, we almost have no choice. This time of the year, it's going to come down to these two teams, it looks like, in 6A Region 1, and what do you know?
Yeah,
so those two are at the top again.
Yeah, we look forward to that. We'll talk more about that. Both coaches here. Go back last week, we had Murphy and McGill, of course, the oldest rivalry, 90th time those two teams getting together, and you really see McGill kind of trending up a little bit, and Murphy's got some challenges I think they're working through, and Coach Jackson's trying to get over that hump a little bit this season.
Yeah, and McGill, of course, a team we saw earlier this year, and it was against the team that we're going to see tonight in Saraland. Saraland had a great comeback win against McGill, but McGill looks like they've gotten a whole lot better. Yep. Murphy's got some of their problems, just like Blunt, in Murphy, not a real identity on offense, and you look up at the scoreboard and it shows it, right? But at the McGill side, they've got a great running back in McReynolds. They use him very well, but they didn't have to use him long this past Friday. So a shutout win for McGill. They're getting better too. Yeah,
8 carries, I think 177 yards for Braylon in the first half. A great night for him. We always, since we're here at AOC, we always like to talk about injuries, preventing injuries, maybe what happens after you have an injury. Matt Barber here with us this week. Doc, we were talking a little bit last week about sometimes how we're always kind of caught up in the now. We have an injury, or we see a young man get injured on the football field, and we don't think about maybe you'll get him patched up, get him back playing, back healthy, but sometimes there's some long-term things we have to think about as we become adults, dealing if we had a bad injury to a knee or hip, something like that as a youngster, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got partners that are sports medicine specialists that are amazing and can do so much to get athletes back in the game. And then as a joint replacement specialist, I often see them, 10, 20, 30 years later, old ACL injuries, old meniscal injuries that end up developing arthritis. And so a lot of those folks will have joint replacements later in life. Definitely something that you see after these kind of injuries.
And it's just from having parents, obviously, get older. It's so different now for knee replacement or hip replacement, even for someone in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, it's radically different than it was not that long ago as far as the process, and the recovery period seems so much shorter nowadays.
Yeah, the technology and the protocols around it have gotten a lot better. We do a lot of these procedures as outpatients now.
Wow.
There's a huge volume of patients that are having these procedures, so there are actually a lot of younger patients that are undergoing them because they do so well and they last so long now, but definitely patients on into their 70s, 80s, and even sometimes 90s.
Wow.
And they do remarkably well.
We've had this conversation at FM Talk 106.5. Of course, you're on my show there. What are we talking? What's the age of patients you're seeing for a joint replacement? How young? And then, quite frankly, how old can you be to go under the knife like that?
It really varies all the way across the board. You've got to personalize it to the patients. In very, very extreme examples, patients may have a joint replacement in their 20s. Those are very rare, probably much more common 50s, 60s, and on up is sort of where the average lands.
And it really, especially if you think about, knee, hips, like it really gives people a new lease on life. I mean, it radically changes their lives almost overnight, right?
Yeah, well, it's not a quick fix. It's not overnight. There is some healing and some recovery that's got to go on, but these are very, very successful procedures, knee replacement and hip replacement.
And they have to do their end when it's all said and done? Do they have, as far as
100%.
Yeah.
The therapy and the work starts before surgery and continues immediately after and for a while after. So it's very patient dependent.
And like when you're saying outpatient, like, I mean, you remember not too long ago when you would hear about someone, maybe a grandmother or someone getting a hip or a knee replacement, and it was a long, arduous process, and I'm sure it still is, especially when you're the one having it. But I mean, how quickly you get them up after that happens, it's amazing.
it's been something that's changed even during my career as we've gotten better. The techniques have gotten less invasive, the medications that we use, the therapy protocols, regional anesthesia, all those things really make that possible. And so for somebody that's healthy, they can have a joint replacement surgery and a lot of times be home by lunchtime and recovering at home. And then really with COVID, it's kind of made that discussion a whole lot easier. People just like the safety of that. They can do these procedures a lot of times in a surgery center where there's no sick people there, and then they go home.
Wow. So don't come find out what your options are, right? Don't just automatically live with joint pain, right? Come find out what your options are.
Absolutely, and not everybody needs surgery. There's always a lot of non-surgical options that we can explore, but for people that need it, there are great options that work really well and are really durable.
Yeah. And here's the place to come have it done, right?
You got it.
All right, thanks, Doc. Great to see you. We come back, we'll get you ready for our matchup tonight. Saraland and Spanish Fort. Jeff Kelly and TREVON McAlpine here with us, and we'll talk all about Saraland. Four in a row they've won coming into tonight's big matchup with Spanish Fort up on the hill here on Friday Night Rivals. Ready for tonight's big matchup in Spanish Fort. First time we've done a game in Baldwin County all year, right?
Yes, it is.
6 times. We've been over on the Mobile side, and we'll be in Baldwin County tonight. We'll be
a real traffic problem
on the hill in Spanish Fort. Going to see the teams over there all that often, but now we do tonight. It's a big matchup. 6A Region 1, both teams unbeaten. Of course, Spanish Fort, top team in the state. TREVON McAlpine from the Saraland Spartans. Head coach Jeff Kelly, as we've been lucky enough to see Saraland a bunch this year, the way the schedule has worked out. And really, we were just talking in the break about that McGill game. Second half of that McGill game, got a little tempo going, watched your quarterback kind of grow up a little bit before our eyes. That was a big turning point after, opening the season against 2 powerhouses, and now you've run off 4 in a row.
We have. We started off the season, took 2 tough losses, played 2 really good teams, and, had some veteran guys in the mix, but also had some young guys that were out there getting their first action. And we go into the week 3 game against McGill, very good team, and kind of back and forth, and they pull away in the second half, and we're down, I think, 15 points.
Yeah, 25-10.
So just a kind of a tipping point, and our kids just, they kept playing, picked some things up, and started playing with tempo, got hot a little bit, and we really reeled off a couple scores there and ended up winning the game. And, really we needed something good to happen at that time of the season, just encouraged our guys. And, we've been getting better ever since. Day in and day out, our guys show up, they keep working, and we've been slowly but surely improving as a football team.
And Jeff was even telling us before the McGill game, so, we're seeing improvements, maybe not on the score, but we're seeing it incrementally, and now it's like we watched them take off that night.
No doubt. Watch you take off that night, watch you win again, and against Blunt.
That's right.
And so which position group do you think has made the biggest jump for you since the beginning of the year against those tough losses you had early?
The thing that's jumped out the last couple of weeks is TREVON's group. We've got 2 veteran guys in there. We've got a sophomore that's been playing in there a little bit the last couple of weeks. But the thing we've been able to do defensively is really take away the opponent's run and kind of make them one-dimensional. And they've been the strength of our team. We knew they were going to be that, and it's been good to see those guys. We've got 2 seniors, TREVON, Keaton Law. Jermaine Perrymore is a sophomore. Jimmy Bird is a junior in there that plays a bunch. So we've got some good players in there, but they've kind of set the tone for us defensively. That's allowed us to get more creative and do some different things. Also allowed us to get more aggressive offensively, because we know, what they've been doing on that side of the ball. So that's been, I think, the biggest difference going forward in our season.
Yeah, we've called Keaton Law, called his name a bunch, of course, TREVON, and then, Coach talking about, you guys helping shut down the run, get them then one-dimensional. That's fun, right? That's fun when they're going to have to start throwing the ball around. That's fun, right?
It is. I like stopping the run because that just helps and gives our DBs, great DBs that we got back there, a chance to show their skills when the other team's throwing the ball.
You really do have an excellent defensive backfield. I mean, talk about that group as well. They're pretty tight back there.
I love that group back there because when we do make the team one-dimensional, they really can't throw the ball because our DBs, they're always doing their job where they need to be on the field and just doing what they need to do.
You know, you're one young man we watch out there, and we can just tell, like, you are having a ball. Like, you love playing football on Friday nights. You're having the time of your life out there, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir. I love playing football, just not on Fridays, just practice, everything. I've been doing this since I was a kid.
So, you know, they always talk about big guys and effort plays, right?
Right.
You couldn't have scripted up one better than the McGill game. The end of the McGill game, TREVON is given all the effort in the world to get to the McGill quarterback. That's a big guy moving a long way.
Comes from the backside.
He ran across the field.
You know, game on the line right there, and he's been doing that for years. And he was doing it today at practice. I mean, the thing I'm most proud of TREVON, he does it on Friday nights. He's a great leader, and a lot of people know about the things that he does in the games, but he's been so consistent as a player and how he practices day in and day out. It just can't, you know, if TREVON's going to do that on a Tuesday, on a Monday, on a Wednesday, well, then those other guys have no choice. They've got to follow the lead, and that, I think, has made us better, especially defensively this year.
Coaches love a tone setter at practice. Going to TCU, committed there right now. Kind of talk about that process and how that came to be.
The process was very hard, it was, but I feel like when I went on all my visits, TCU stuck out the most. Their coaching staff, all the facilities, and the people they had up there, it just felt like home, and it feels like that's going to be home for the next quarter.
Cool old stadium, isn't it?
It is. It's really, very nice.
Yeah.
In the city, all that. I loved it up there.
Excellent.
And it's funny how, like, sometimes your gut just knows, like, you just feel comfortable there, right?
It just was. I was on the way back from my last visit, and I was just sitting on the plane, and I was like, something's just telling me I just got to go to TCU.
That's awesome.
And I called him and committed right after I got off the plane.
Great.
Oh, that's so cool. And you know, as you get older, one thing we all learn, like, trust your gut. It's usually
That's right.
It's usually
It's
right.
usually the best decision.
Yeah, great to meet you. We'll see you out there on the game tonight, Coach. You'll be around later with. No, you don't have to stick around, right? Heather just. You don't have to be part of the dumb questions anymore that I come up with. Heather's got smart questions for the players. Good to see you. We'll see you on the game on the field here, and when we come back, we'll talk about the Spanish sports side of things. Perfect season so far. Coach BLACKMON is here along with Cooper Wilson, and we'll talk all about the undefeated Toros coming up right after this. Getting ready for the matchup tonight on the Hill. Top-ranked undefeated Spanish sport playing host to the Saraland Spartans. Ben BLACKMON, head coach of the Toros, and Cooper Wilson here, tight end H-back. We've seen this young man on TV a lot. And I know, Coach, just quickly, I know everyone aware, I think almost everyone, about the health scare you had with your daughter. And just one point I think is cool. We talk about so much how much you and coaches make impact on people's lives. But then I think it's also really cool when, like, the community support, not just Toro fans, certainly that was a whole bunch, but the way it kind of comes back full circle when you kind of need some thoughts and positive vibes coming your way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had, people, from all over the place, from where I've coached before, where we've lived, just send us messages, high school teammates. I mean, it's been great to have that many people just send you a message, say, hey man, I'm praying for you. Yep. So.
And she's doing great.
She's doing good.
It's awesome.
Doing good.
Awesome to hear. Big matchups in like Saraland, Spanish sport. We could probably just roll the tape back from the last several years we've done this pregame show. But again, here we are, Coach, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go back and look at probably the last 10 years, it's either been Saraland or Spanish Fort to win this region. And it's been great games, to be a part of. Coach Kelly does such a fantastic job at Saraland and getting his kids ready to play, and it's always a challenge, and we know it's going to be a great competition on Friday night.
You guys are obviously ranked #1 in the state. Pretty good. What does your team do best? Is this a team that's going to establish the run, come hell or high water?
I think one of the things that we do best is we play fast. We play with high tempo. Okay. Both sides of the ball. Okay. Our defense is got a lot of speed on it, and then offensively, we obviously always start every year with the run game. We always going to start with the run, and that's just what I believe. My philosophy as a coach. You got to run the football to win, and so we're going to start there. And a lot of it is contributed to what Cooper's done over the last 3 years for us. Is that blocking tight end, and he's done an outstanding job for us. But what I would say is this year is we've got a lot more skill. Offensively than we've had probably in the past overall. We've always had those guys.
We've had the occasional playmaker in Spanish Ford. We've seen those.
We've had the Chris Drains, we've had the Javon Browns, but now we got several kids out there, plus the backfield that gives us that separates that.
So quite a quarterback.
Yeah, he's fun.
Quite a quarterback.
You told us he was going to be fun when he started playing.
We hadn't seen him take a snap yet, and we looked at each other about midway through the first quarter. We're like, okay.
Yeah, Ben wasn't lying to us about that one. We were just talking in the break. So Cooper has been starting since a 10th grader, played in the 19 and 20 state championship game. This will be your 36th game as a high school football player. It's really cool to be able to play that many games of football, right? In high school.
Yes, sir. It's pretty good. I mean, it's a long process. It takes a lot of time, a lot of extra work, and putting in days of work and making sure you're all lined up to make it perfect.
So you're somebody, and we've watched you play. You love the game of football. What do you love most about the game of football?
Well, I love football because you can bond with your teammates and have a good time. You always have relationships after football, and you look forward to stuff going back to football, and then as time comes on, you find your friends from back then.
That's awesome.
Something we've talked about with Coach before too is there's expectations at a place like Spanish Fort or Saraland, but it's nice to be a place where the bar is set high, and I think a lot of young Toros, as you come through, you understand how special this opportunity is to play for Spanish Fort, right?
Yes, sir. It's a great for all them younger kids coming up to play.
You were one of them once, right?
Yes, sir, I was. I was playing from young age all the way up.
Yeah, that's awesome. We go to Saraland, we go to even UMS or St. Paul's or Spanish Fort, and you see the little guys behind the bleachers, and they're getting ready to someday be a Toro. And it's like they live and breathe it even in fourth grade, and then it all comes together, and it happens.
You mentioned tempo. You said you like tempo, and I think every coach a lot of times will say, "Hey, we'd like to play with tempo," but sometimes, as much as you want to do it, it just doesn't. It's not a match. So, like when you do get those teams that can play with tempo. Yep. That's a heck of a weapon to have.
Well, yeah, and we don't play fast all the time. That's not our goal. I think one of the things that gives defenses problems is when you mix it up. When you go fast, when you can slow it down, when you can, do things
You're not sure what's coming.
Exactly. Yeah. And, so that's kind of my mentality as a play caller is, mixing it up and doing that.
Yeah, well, we two great play callers going at it tonight. And neither defensive coordinator has been sleeping much this week. We know.
I don't know about great on my part, but Jeff's absolutely good.
Yeah, we hear from other coaches who say that. So thanks so much for being here. Great, everything's good to hear. Everything's great at home. Yes. And stick around, Cooper. You'll be with Heather in the last segment. I'm actually going to get a haircut before the game. I promise I'll look different when I get in the booth. Going to do that. Dan and I'll get you ready for the kickoff coming up in about 10 minutes. Heather is here with both players as we get ready for tonight's matchup between Spanish Fort and Saraland here on UTV 44.
Preview show. Heather Healy now. Dan and Jim have made it back to the booth. But first, before we get into all the fun questions that I have for you guys, it's time to announce the Wendy's Giant of the Week. And this week's winner is Palmer Lavelle. Congratulations to him, a senior right tackle from UMS Wright Preparatory School, this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week. Do you want to be this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week? If you're a junior or a senior who plays on the football team at any of the high schools in our Alabama viewing area, you could win. Just log on to UTV 44 and click on the contest page to be entered for a Wendy's Giant of the Week prize pack. Of course, rules and regulations do apply. All right, let's get to the fun stuff. I've got Cooper Wilson from Spanish Fort and TREVON McAlpine for Saraland here. Before we get into the big questions, though, I got to ask, what are you looking forward to? And we're in week 7. What are you looking forward to for Friday night?
I'm just looking forward to taking the field with my brothers once again, because this may be some of our last game. It may not. So I'm just looking forward to take the field with them Friday night.
So cherish every moment.
Every moment.
What about you? You're home, so what are you going to look forward to being at home?
I'm looking for my team to come out with some energy.
Okay.
And be explosive and execute on point, and hopefully keep on going to the next game on and on winning.
Okay, hardest questions you're going to get all night. You ready? Okay, my rule is you cannot have the same answer. Some of them you can, but for the most part, be kind of different, all right? Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Like the cape? Okay.
And he's pretty strong.
He's pretty strong. What about you, Batman or Superman?
Probably Batman.
Why Batman?
He's got the cool cars.
He's got the Batmobile. That's right. See, you don't have the Batmobile. You got Robin instead. All right, go-to candy bar.
Probably Snickers.
Snickers. What about you?
Probably a Kit Kat.
A Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Okay, are you one of those people that breaks off the Kit Kat, each one, or do you take a whole chunk off?
No, see, really, I really don't eat candy. I just said a Kit Kat.
Oh, okay, excuse me. Alrighty then. With you, since we are in fall, pumpkin spice or apple cider?
Pumpkin spice.
Okay, have you had a pumpkin spice latte yet?
No.
Okay, I was going to judge you if you did. Would it have been pumpkin spice or apple cider?
Probably pumpkin spice.
Okay.
It smells better.
Have you had a pumpkin spice latte? No? Okay, good. We're on a great start. Your most used emoji?
Probably the laugh emoji.
The laugh crying emoji?
Yeah.
Okay, that's mine too. What about yours?
Definitely.
The laugh crying emoji. All right, I'll take that one. Your go-to karaoke song?
Well, on the weekends, I'll probably be singing some country music with my
Really?
Yeah, with my teammates. So
Okay.
I'll probably say like John. Y'all probably don't know John Wayne Hatfield. Me and Ian, my O-lineman, we listen to Strong Woman.
Yeah, is that right? Okay. What about? I love that answer. What about you?
I'd probably go with a Big Green Tractor.
Okay, I love that. And last question I got for you guys: if you could live in any decade, where would you live?
Probably right now.
In this moment. Why this moment? Why right now?
Because everything is just like, we got better technology than they did back then and stuff like that. I don't want to pull out no brick phone just to call somebody. I can just text them easily. Like, I don't want to page nobody.
Yeah.
It's just easier.
Okay, so because of technology, because of the phones.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'd probably go about 5 years back.
5 years back. Why 5 years back?
Because get away from all the pandemic, COVID, back to the good times.
Yeah, so pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. The hardest questions you're ever going to get asked, I promise. Good luck tonight. Be fair, be safe, and of course, have so much fun. We thank you so much for joining us here on the AOC High School Football Preview Show. I will be on the sidelines in just a bit. Dan and Jim will be in the booth giving you everything that you need to know for tonight. Until next time, we will see you at kickoff in about 15 seconds.